That's disgusting. Alright guys, I wanted to shoot a little video on overhead pressing. I don't know how many people do it. I know it's a little more popular maybe in the powerlifting realm than bodybuilding. I would have done it. Normally I do it in my squat rack standing up, but I feel like the lighting's bad over there. And from what I'm noticing, it's worse here from, I don't know. I feel like I can get a better angle here and from the side for you guys doing it from the bench. But my grip, I think this has, this movement overall is good for obviously your pressing strength. It carries over from your bench press and your incline or whatever. It's a good accessory to the bench. You know, it's going to work on your shoulders, it's going to work on your triceps, it's going to work on your overhead, overall pressing strength. So typically I do a closer grip. It does not feel good whatsoever being way out here like where I bench. So I usually put my hands on the knurling just a little bit outside of shoulder width. Sometimes I use my thumb on the knurling. Now, it doesn't really matter if you put your thumb over the bar or you do a thumbless suicide grip. It doesn't really make a difference necessarily. But when you get under the bar, you don't want your elbows to be back behind you. I'll get you a side view here in a bit. You don't want your elbows to be back behind. You want your elbows to be underneath of your wrist, underneath of your hands, okay? You want the bar to be in a neutral position with your elbow. Now, which is going to be over mid-foot, because typically you're going to be standing up. You want everything to be in line with each other. Otherwise, you're in a bad, unsafe position. I usually get the bar just right above, a couple inches above my nipple line. I think I typically wrap my thumb underneath. And you want, like I said, you want your elbows in neutral position, but if anything, you want them forward a little bit. You do not want them back, and you do not want them out. Tuck them in. I stick my chest out, I tuck my elbows in. And then once you unrack the bar, like I said, you got the bar over mid-foot. My elbows are forward a little bit, but they are tucked in next to my side. And when you go up with it, you want the bar to go up in a very straight path, but your head is obviously in the way. Once you start to press, pull my head back, and the bar ends up in a straight path overhead. And then when I come back, bring my head back, bring it back to my chest. So I'm talking about with your elbows. I don't want to unwrap the bar, but you don't want your elbows too far back when you have it. You don't want them necessarily too far forward. Now, they are going to go forward some, so that's more of a natural position. Tucked in next to your body. Don't want them flailing out. Tucked in next to your body. When you come up with it, you're going to have your chest up, your elbows tucked. Pull your head back, get overhead. Once, right when you break that bar over the top of your head. My video cut off in the middle of that. I had too much storage. too much video footage on my phone. I had to delete some. But the problem with people not bringing their head forward typically is that when you go up and you don't take your head out of the way, you tend to just press forward, and you're not at all going in a good position over mid-foot without getting your head out of the way and then coming forward with your head. I see kids nowadays in the gym. Not everybody, some people. I'm not talking about everybody. Some people will just bam, bam, bam. They're just constantly going literally forward with the bar. That's not at all what you want. You want to go directly over mid-foot, in line with your wrist, in line with your elbows, in line with your hands, directly overhead in a nice neutral position, and then back down. Yeah, your head's gonna get in the way. Typically, you flip your hat around and you bam, bam. See my elbow positioning? I'm not back, I'm not out, tucked in, close to my body. It's in a pretty good line, somewhat forward, in line with my hands, in line with my wrist, over my mid-foot. Once I come up, pull my head back so I hit my chin. Then once I get above my head, I start pulling my head forward so I can continue that motion of being directly overhead. Pull your head back to come back down, bam. Simple as that. Like I said, I know it's a problem for some people. They don't know how the bar needs to go, where their elbow positioning needs to be, where their hands need to be. Typically, it's a closer grip movement. Elbows tucked, midfoot in line, directly overhead, head back, elbows back. You're going to really feel like once you go overhead, you're really going to feel like you're throwing your arms back, but you're pretty much ending up in the same position where you started on your chest. Like I said, a couple inches above your nipple line. It's more like, I don't know, probably about 4 inches or so above my nipple line. I'm actually pretty high on my chest. I'm way up here, nipples down here, I'm way up here. But yeah, just a couple little quick tips on that, just in case someone's having issues with it, or they're uncomfortable with their arms or something. But yeah, and it's going to take it's a little bit of mobility work. Some people aren't very mobile. Mobility is terrible, and I'm lucky enough that mine's all right. I don't do a whole lot of stretching. Some people need to do some stretching. They need to work on the movement, you know. Get their hands on the bar, squeeze under this way, squeeze under that way, kind of just get a feel for it. Stretch your elbows out, use bands, do whatever you got to do to get your elbows warm. But it's a really, really good movement to transfer over. Do an incline as well, it's a really good movement. But they really transfer over very, very well into increasing your bench. That's a great, great accessory is military press, strict military press with a bar. I don't really use dumbbells much. But yeah, so I'll usually go somewhat heavy on them. I'll do maybe sets of 3 or sets of 5, maybe working up to around 185. It's very hard to press weight strict with a bar. I know it took me a long time to be able to move 185 for one, and I still can't move more than 205, I think. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for you today. Not a whole lot of footage, trying to teach you a little lesson, and I'm no expert. That's just from personal experience and other things I've heard and other things I've seen. But stay at it, and I will catch you suckers in the next one.